What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I thought I would tackle a pretty interesting topic that seems to be going around with Gran Turismo 7 and a website that has been, accused of doing some stuff or being a certain way. I want to talk about it. I want to try to see if I can get down to the bottom of it and talk about my own opinion on it, because I kind of feel like some of the stuff I agree with, some of the stuff I actually don't agree with. So this is it's an Australian independent site called Stevivor, and hopefully I'm saying that right. I've never heard it being said. I looked on their website. I watched a couple of their YouTube videos. They don't say it, or they didn't say it in any of the places that I looked, so I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But they count on Metacritic, so they're like, whatever you want to call them, like accredited site or whatever, right? They're on Metacritic, they're on OpenCritic. I think they work with the Game Awards. They're like a panelist there. So they are like a legit, what the industry would consider to be legit, right? Not maybe, obviously, like IGN and stuff are obviously a lot bigger, but like these guys count. And what's basically happened here is Sony didn't give them a code for Gran Turismo 7, okay? So they didn't get a code for Gran Turismo 7, and they're very upset about it. Now, it's tough, okay? This has happened before, not necessarily to them. Maybe it's happened to them. Like Kotaku has pretty much been blacklisted from the internet from getting review codes. Good. There's some things that have happened. I know there's been things even like Mr. Maddie Plays over on YouTube, right? He gets codes from everybody. He gets codes even from PlayStation, but he didn't get a code for Horizon Forbidden West, and he said the last time he didn't get a code for that, he also didn't get a code for The Last of Us Part 2. And maybe it's because of what he thinks or what he said in the past about them or whatever. So, like, this has happened here and there. Obviously, this is like the big story because these guys, again, they're now being accused, and I'm not saying like this is right or wrong. They're being accused of being kind of anti-PlayStation. There were people that kind of did charts of PlayStation games versus Xbox games, and Xbox games always got, I guess maybe like the overall average got the higher scores over PlayStation. Now, some of the PlayStation games still got pretty okay scores. There were like 8s, there were 7.5s. I know like a 7.5 or a 7 when everybody else is giving a game a 9 probably comes off the wrong way, right? So here's what I'll say. I'm going to say maybe some stuff that's controversial, maybe some stuff that's not controversial. Number one, it's up to Sony what they do. Okay, I mean, that's not controversial, maybe it is, but Sony has the right to pick and choose the sites that they send them out to. They can pick and choose when to, like, they can give a site a code for one, but then not give a code for the next. That's within Sony's right to do. Now, does it make it right that Sony does it? I will honestly say no. And here's the reason. Here's the boiled down reason. It's not censorship, but the ideas about kind of around it, I would say, align with my view of censorship. If this site sucks, if this site only writes unprofessional kind of hit pieces, and I will say, some of the stuff they've written, like the Death Stranding review, obviously a lot of people are pulling up. I'll try to show a picture of it. Very unprofessional, very like, it does sound like they were like out to get Hideo Kojima or out to get Sony or out to get just the game Death Stranding. So, I agree. Like, they probably have not been very professional. Maybe they very well could have a biasness against Sony where they're just not going to give Sony product. They said Horizon Forbidden West is the most linear open world game they've ever played. I don't know if you could be more wrong. Again, the Death Stranding one could be. You know what I mean? So, but again, here's the deal. It's their opinion. If they want to do that, that's up to them. And then you know what we can do? We don't watch them. So here's another thing I would say. It's within Sony's right to do stuff, right? And I don't think it makes it right that they withhold codes for those reasons. Even I bring up the Mr. Maddie Plays where it's like, look, like, I don't care if you do or don't like what he said. People like him. People trust him. He can get people to buy your product. It's more just people that kind of see your stuff that maybe otherwise wouldn't. Like, it makes sense. Now, here's one thing I'll throw in. What should determine it, and this even goes for me, right? Whatever criteria Sony has for, and I don't know this, by the way, because I've never talked to anybody that represents them that's reached out to me. Whatever criteria that they have, if you don't reach it and say you were reaching it, and then all of a sudden you don't, then I think it's within their right to pull the code. So here's what I'm kind of getting at, right? Kotaku. Now, Kotaku, I think, because Kotaku hates everybody and everybody hates them, there's kind of just a mutual understanding that, no, you don't get codes anymore, and I highly respect that. But no, honestly, for like a site like this, let's say, and I don't know these analytics. I'm just kind of making stuff up, right? Because here's my overall opinion. If this site, I don't care. I don't care that they're partnered. I don't care that they have the thing with Metacritic. If they get certain metrics that make Metacritic happy and they say, okay, well, because you average this amount of clicks per article or this amount of views on your website every month, because of that, you're linked with us. And then Sony could have their own stuff, right? Well, you have to get this many clicks on the review. You have to get this, that. If you reach that, and then all of a sudden you don't reach that, I think it's within their right to pull and not give it to you anymore. And I'm not saying that's what's happened. I'm not trying to defend Sony. I'm saying that's what I would prefer would be I hope that's the reason. I want it to be the reason that PlayStation, but again, like the Mr. Matty Plays stuff, bringing that up, that's kind of why I bring it up, because I don't really, his views are pretty consistent for years now. I don't really think that's necessarily the reason, but I kind of want it to be, right? It should be, hey, look, you get this many clicks, you have to reach the criteria that we set, and if you ever drop below it, it's within our right to say, it's not worth it to give it to you anymore, right? Now, you could say, well, okay, Sony looks at it and says, well, all they do is write hit piece, garbage pieces on us, so we're not gonna, bend to that. There's a degree where, I do understand that. I get it, right? If me, right, say, I don't know, even say, for my videos, say, I have an agreement with somebody where I just send them my videos and they, let's just say they review it, right? And we just have this, casual kind of, I guess this, business casual kind of relationship, and they do it, but every single video I send to them, they despise of me, and then I notice that maybe they don't despise it. I would get pretty upset. So there is a sense where I do get that. But here's the thing. Sony, I think, is above that kind of, they should be, just like Microsoft should be, just like Nintendo. They should be able to take these hits because ultimately, because this Australia's most independent thing, they got 4,000 Twitter followers. Okay, I almost have 3,000. They have 2,000 YouTube subscribers. I have, it's like their website. Do people actually go on their website? So that's the thing with any of these. That's why I've been saying for a long time, I don't necessarily want these companies to die out, these gaming, media companies. I just want fairness for, if YouTubers meet the threshold that these sites make, and trust me, YouTubers I think would make much more or reach the threshold much more than them, give the YouTubers exactly the kind of openness, give them these preview builds or give them these preview events and have them talk to the developers, have them talk to the stars. And we're getting there, but it's just like the Jacksepticeye's that do it, right? I want everybody. If you have 200,000 subscribers and maybe you meet the threshold just as much as Polygon or GameSpot, you should get everything that GameSpot gets in regards to your relationship with these developers. That's my opinion. So, and that's the thing with this, right? I don't know how big these guys are. And I think Sony, basically what I'm saying is I think Sony can take the punch. And ultimately, again, kind of going to the censorship. So what was I meaning for the censorship? Well, just to kind of end things, my idea with that Martha is Dead game is yes, I know it's not the greatest thing that is in the game. You know what I mean? It is disturbing. It's not necessarily something that I would even play. I haven't played it, but we're all adults, or even if you're teenagers, have your parents decide, or you decide. We don't need Sony thinking, because they don't actually do this, but we don't need them saying, well, we'll protect you from these things. We can do it ourselves. So basically what I'm saying is, in another way, let us see these reviews. Okay, keep giving the reviews to these people, and if nobody watches or reads them, then yes, pull them, because that's not fair, right? If these guys get 600 clicks on their review of, say, Horizon Forbidden West, then I should get I should have gotten the game weeks early, just like they, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Give them what you've been doing. Give them the rights that they have, earned, if you want to call it that, and let them basically die if that's the path they choose. If they really are, again, I'm not really stating it, if they really are biased, if they really are just kind of pathetic and these reviews aren't to be taken seriously, people will realize it. They will. It may take a while. Kotaku took people decades, realistic. Kotaku took people too long to figure out how trash they are, but eventually people did figure it out. So people would figure it out. They'd say, you know what? No, I don't care what this site says about this game. I'm not going to go do it. And then their metrics crash, and either they do better, they get rid of the biasness, they get rid of all that stuff, and they actually focus on doing it right. Either they do that, which 95% of these sites would never do, or they would die. They would die, and then Sony would look at them and say, I'm not giving you a review for this gigantic game when you get 1,000 clicks on your, and you have, these things are reported, right? I'm not doing it if you get 1,000 clicks on your review. I could give it to a YouTuber with 80,000 subscribers, and I could get more views on that, and which means we make more money because more people would see it and maybe buy the game because of them than you. So why are we giving it to you? See what I mean? So it is controversial. I'm ultimately saying, don't do this, Sony. Give them that Gran Turismo 7 review. And guess what? If it's trash, it's trash. Sony can take the hit. I don't really think anybody... who cares what these people think in the first place, right? At least that's my opinion. Also, final thing I'll say, the review score thing, I do get, again, like... I saw the chart, and it is a little sketchy how the Xbox scores are always better than the PlayStation scores. I guess just overall average, but like the lowest Xbox score to the highest PlayStation score, technically the PlayStation score is higher. But what I would also say is, again, another reason why scores, giving it a number is a horrible idea. You should, again, I think, just be able to get the impression out of the person. And like the Death Stranding one, they gave it a 3.5 or 35 out of 100. Like, you could probably tell they hated it just by their words. You should be able to do that for every game. You should. You should need to see the 35. The 35 obviously hurts. You see the 35 and you're like, dear Jesus, what did they think of this game? So, you see what I mean? I think these people, ultimately, Kotaku, as we're seeing, all of these sites, I think they're honestly just all dying. I think hopefully, these companies do see that and say, we're not going to keep helping these guys out when we can make so much more money, get so much more reach anywhere else besides you guys. And I think slowly we're getting there. And again, I think you have to give these guys chances to fall apart. You can't just pull it. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I hope to see you all on the next video.